We sitting here with Maury Yiftop Ben Don, prominent teacher from Congregation DCB. We're here discussing the birth of a nation and all the controversy that's surrounding it. So Maury Yiftop, what do you think about the whole thing with Nate Parker and what's going on with him, all the backlash that he's been getting, people boycotting his movie? What do you think about all that?
Well, first and foremost, honor and praise to the Most High God, King of heaven and earth, for without him, we're nothing. You know, I think you know where I'm at with this. People are boycotting the movie, not more so because of his actions, but more so because what the movie represents. Because there's been other actors, actresses, things of that nature that people have not boycotted, that have done far more foul things that they weren't acquitted of, that they were found guilty of. In particular, Charlie Sheen, who you have somebody who is known to be a bad boy and things of that nature, and they never boycott him. Clearly disrespects women, has no respect for authority, and they keep that going. Nate Parker, he comes, he has a story about a man who rose up and fought back against his slave masters who were cruelly oppressing the people. Now all of a sudden they want to boycott it. Why is this? And the fact of the matter is that he was acquitted of all charges. So it's only in America where when you stand trial and you're still acquitted of what happens there, they still, the court of public opinion, still wants to hold you responsible for something that a jury of your so-called peers acquitted you of. I'm not with it.
But what about all the people that say, you know, although he might have been acquitted, the story sounds kind of fishy.
Right.
You know, they still dogged out a woman, and you know, and the woman did commit suicide after the fact. What do you say for people who say that?
Well, the woman who committed suicide, that's a horrible thing. So I'm not going to touch on the fact that she committed suicide. He said he felt sorry for it. I'm sorry that she felt that. You know, that's what she wanted to do, and those things would play itself out. As far as what his act was, you know, he apologized for it. He did what he did when he was younger. I'm not saying that it's acceptable of what he did, because from what I've read and what I understood, there was some immoral acts. But if he says he's sorry for it, then that's fine. He never said that he raped her. So from all of that, for the different people who want to feel how they feel about it, that's okay. But how come you aren't boycotting all the other work that he did? How come this hasn't come to the forefront before when these things were happening? Oh, all of a sudden when the Birth of a Nation movie comes out, you have an issue with that. For that, no. I can't see it. If you're gonna be against something, be consistent with it. But don't be halfway with it. But people have their right to feel how they feel, but it's the hypocrisy of America that I see happen all too often. The same way where you have the same people who support Trump and all of his demoralizing behavior and how he treats people, not only black people, Mexicans, people who are non-white. It's the same way I don't see them coming out in full force and saying, oh, no, don't vote for Trump and do things of that nature. It's because of what the man represents, talking about Nate Parker in particular. And that's black people telling their story against the atrocities of one people against another.
Thank you. Maury Yiftop Ben Don.
Yes, sir.
We at the Tova booth. We over here chilling with my brother Chief Benyamin. Chief Benyamin, what's your opposition to the whole Birth of a Nation movie?
I have no opposition.
You have no opposition? Nate Parker?
No opposition. I have no problem with him. I have no problem with the movie.
I thought you had a problem with it. But what's the opposing points that people have?
That he's a rapist. He's had no respect for women. Things along those lines.
Do you believe that?
I've been asked to read the court transcripts, which I haven't yet. But many people said once you read the court transcripts, it changes your mind. But not that that's going to change my mind, but that's what people say. they read the court transcripts lately and changed their mind. They changed their opinion on stuff.
So, all right, but this man, he was in other movies like Red Tail. He was in other movies.
Right.
Why do you think now that the Nat Turner narrative is being told on the big screen that people are coming out against that part of it? Do you think it's part of a greater agenda, or do you think it's just something that came up grassroots, or do you think it's part of a greater agenda? Meaning,
No, well, the girl that accused them committed suicide a few years ago.
right?
So this is after those other movies already came out.
Right.
So they figured that the fact that she committed suicide was because there was something else going on behind the scenes. Because also what people are boycotting the fact that during that whole time, before the trial and right after the incident, they said that Nate Parker and the other brother that he was with was bullying her. So they were looking at, even if it wasn't a situation of rape, they said that he was bullying her and, you know, things like that. So that's where a lot of people have a problem with him.
Bullying her in which manner?
I have to check that out, but they, you know, that was part of the court case also. Not just the rape charges, but the bullying that took place after. I guess, you know, threatening her not to say anything, you know, things, you know, like that. So I guess that's what people are looking at. And like, you know, once again, she committed suicide a few years ago. So people feel like, you know, if it wasn't rape or if it wasn't consensual, why would she commit suicide? It must have been something that was weighing on her mind.
Do you think that was the suicide? Did she leave a note saying that it was connected to?
I don't believe she left a note, but people that were close to her felt that incident was haunting her ever since.
Okay.
Not just because after the court case, but just after the incident itself. Like that incident just kept haunting her, and she couldn't take it anymore, and she took her own life. So it's the fact that the suicide came up, and then he found out about it. He made reference to it, you know, earlier this year, and everything started having a so-well effect from that point on. A lot of people are looking for him to apologize for the incident, even though he was acquitted. They're just looking for him to apologize for introducing somebody else in a sexual encounter. You know, that was his woman, but they feel like, you know, if you're going to introduce somebody else, at least you should have known prior. You don't just pop somebody else in the room like that. So that's why a lot of people are boycotting him.
Okay.
And he's not apologizing. You know, he was 19 years old at the time. So some people are looking at him for to just say, well, I was young and it was something I shouldn't have done. But they're looking at like all the interviews he's done this year. He's just like bypassing the whole incident, like, you know, he did nothing wrong at all. So that's how people are viewing it.
So do you feel like he did something wrong?
I don't know, you know, because this court case was years ago, but it's new in terms of coming to the public. I haven't checked out anything, so I can't make any speculation on what was done right or what was done wrong.
Thank you. Well, this is in you know, we about ready to go as a group to go see the movie. So, you know, we decided to have this discussion to see the pros and the cons and the people that are for, the people that are against. So, but you say you have to look at the transcripts.
Right.
Okay.
I don't know the details of the case itself, so I can't make a judgment on that.
There you have it from Chief Benyamin. Shalom, my brother.
Shalom.